Okay, let's have a look at Bitrix24 CRM, starting in leads. So we covered leads quite a bit in our marketing video, so we're not going into detail, but you've got the option, firstly, I guess, in leads to change the mode that you use. You can use the standard classic mode, which is leads, deals, and contacts and companies, or the simple mode, which excludes use of leads. So it depends on the sort of business that you are. Do you need to qualify those inquiries before you convert them into permanent records within the system? But if we're starting in a lead, we can see that leads have different stages. You can name these stages to suit your business. In this Kanban view, we can progress leads through these stages simply by dragging and dropping. I can move them backwards, I can move them forwards, or I can move them backwards. I can add a new lead up here by clicking on the little add button, or we've got the option to add one using the short form here as well. Can view leads in a number of different ways. Kanban we're looking at the moment. List view. List view allows you to create the layout that you want. Choose the columns you want visible in your list view, and then reorder those to make the ideal layout. And we can use the filter at the top to drill down into the information to find what you're looking for. So, for instance, I can look at leads that I'm responsible for. I'm logged in as this user, John Smith. Might want to filter by status as well. So let's look at leads that are at stage looking good. If we filter that, we can see that I've now got these two leads which are progressed to this looking good stage. We can also type in here, so it really is a multi-field search. So let's expand that search. We can view leads on a calendar as well, so I can view them by created on date on this calendar view, and we have a report as well. So I can add any of these widgets to this dashboard when I've got the layout that I want. This is all drag and drop, so I can create the layout that suits me, and then I can choose the data I want to see inside each of these individual widgets. Let's go back to the list view, and let's look at leads that are in progress. Status leads in progress. So these are ones that have not been won, not been lost, just in progress. So we can convert a lead into a number of different entities within the system. I think most commonly we would convert a lead to a company and contact, and possibly a deal as well. If we're creating a deal from a lead, it's going to ask us which pipeline we want the deal to go into. Let's go into companies, and we'll look at how all those different entities relate to one another. So let's go into this. Just click back and show you actually how you can find anything within the system using the universal search at the top. So as well as going to the company list view and search in there, we can search straight from any page. If I scroll down, then I can find the company I'm looking for here. And inside a company record, contact information is on the left, including the people that work at that business. Underneath on this example, we've got a couple of drop downs that I can change. I can edit any of these fields without going in to edit the whole record. That saves a little bit of time. This is also all drag and drop, so I can move these fields around to create the layout that I want to. As I'm logged in as an administrator, I can then set this view so that all users see the same layout that I have. So contact information is on the left-hand side, and categorizing information like we've got here. Got the telephone number and email addresses. And then on the right-hand side is the history or any planned activity. Let's go into a contact that's associated with this company, and we'll see a bit better on this, how we can add activity and view the history of this contact. So again, we have telephone number and email address. You can dial them from the system here, directly from the system. We can email directly from the system as well. If you want to email from your other email client, whether it's Outlook or Gmail or another client, all those emails will sync into the activity, whether you're using Bitrix's email client or your own. So that will be outgoing and emails will find the correct contact in the CRM and save that email into the activity. So the contact information is on the left. This is stored in sections, information section, another section down here. I can add additional sections, and we can add custom fields to each of these sections. So it's fully customizable in terms of the layout and the fields that you can add to that left-hand side. Over on the right-hand side, we can see planned activity here. So I've got an outbound call and a meeting plan. I can tick these off as and when they're complete, and they'll disappear down the list. So planned is just up here, and historical activity is just below. If we scroll down, look at this history, we can see that there's some phone calls that we're recording and saving in the system. I can play those back, of course. We can see emails are recorded in here. If we scroll down a little bit more, SMS. So if you want to send SMS from the system, either as part of a process or manually, then they're going to be recorded. As well as those actions, of course, we can add some notes into the system. What I quite like is the ability to tag another user in here. So I've tagged my colleague in here, and I'm going to post that information into here. I might want to pin that at the top so it's saved for a while. Post that information I've added, that comment I've added. But Jim White now will receive a notification that will link him straight to this record, and he can reply to my comment here. We can book in calls. So I want to forward diarize a call for the end of the week. We can do that. You can see that that's now added into my planned activity. We can send an SMS, as we mentioned. We can send an email from the system here. I can add in templates so that we can easily send out standard stock emails from the system. We can do emails manually like that. We can do them part of an automated process, which I'll show you in a few minutes. We can create tasks. We can schedule meetings. So we can add all that activity manually to the right-hand side. You'll see who's made these comments or added these activities, and of course you're going to see any activities from anyone else who's got access to this particular record. So let's have a look at, so that's a company and a contact and how you can add activity to those. Let's have a look at deals, quotes, and invoices. So if we go back into the company record, we can see that there are some deals associated with this particular company. Let's open up one of these deals. So deals, in a similar way to leads, have their own stages. You can, of course, name these stages to suit your business. In this example, as we progress, they actually change color as well until we get to a one deal, which is green. They have their own stages. In addition, deals have a value. So you can add products to a deal, bring those products through and total it up as a value here. If you want to put things like probabilities in, you can do that as well to do sort of forecasting on future sales. We generate a deal, and from a deal we can add activity into a deal as well, just like we can on a contact. So I can book in a call against a deal, send an email. I can make notes in here. Quite a good feature of deals is that if I want to have a quick instant message conversation with other people that might be able to have some input on this deal. we can start a chat conversation with this group of users. And if they reply, I'll see that in there. That's always going to be stored up here, so I can come back to that chat conversation as well. But as I say, you see your planned activities. If I've got calls planned, you'll see them here. And if I've got all the history is booked below there under the date for that particular item. So we can do on deals. We have stages. We can add products and a value to those. We can add activity manually. We can also add create some automatic actions based on the stage of a deal. So if we click into configure here, we can see the stages replicated here. Below these stages are the rules. So when this deal is new, in this example, we're just going to progress this or change this to a different responsible person. We have a control here. This is looking at whether the deal moves from this stage within 5 days. Should it stay at this stage more than 5 days, then we're going to notify a supervisor. At this stage, we're just sending out a notification. At this stage, we're sending out an SMS to the client. When we win the deal, we're creating an invoice. So we can do quite a lot of automatic actions based on the stage of a deal. Send an email, send an SMS, schedule a meeting or a call, create a task, change responsible person, which we mentioned, change pipeline. It might be actually that there might be a reason why you actually want to move this into a different pipeline. Quite a lot of different standard actions you can do. So look at advertising. We can actually target advertising on Facebook and Google, targeted at this individual based on the information we've got on them in terms of their email address and mobile number. We can try and target an advert directly at them. And communications, we can do email and SMS. We can also do robocalls, so automated voice calls we can trigger automatically. So those are the rules you can do based on manually changing the stage. We can actually use triggers as well to update the stage automatically. Something like an incoming call or an incoming email, if the details of the telephone number or email address match that of the deal, that can be used as a trigger to change the stage. If we're sending invoices, we're using something like PayPal, integrated PayPal, then a payment of that can change the stage of a deal, probably change it to 1, I guess, if they've paid. We're sending out emails as part of a process where we're requesting them maybe to view an email or complete a form. That's quite a good one. Should that form be completed by the user, we can use that as a trigger to change the stage of this deal. So that's how you can add some automatic actions to a deal. Once we've added some products to a deal, we can generate a quote from this deal. This will bring across all the information from the deal into the quote. And let's go into our quotes page and have a look at all the quotes and go into one which has some more content on there. So this one has a value. Let's have a look at this one. So this is what the quotes looks like. Got your products on there, and you can add in any custom fields in here. This is all drag and drop again, so I can create the layout that I want. Quotes have stages also, so we can see when it's been sent to the client, when it's been reviewed, did we win it, did we lose it. But from a quote, the main thing is that we can generate documents. So I can generate my quote PDF. If you want to, you can create a number of different types of documents. It might be you want a quote, a standard quote layout, but you might also want more of a proposal layout. You can create those templates from here. Let's have a look at adding new templates. So Bitrix is shipped with some standard templates, which you have here. You can download these templates as Word documents and modify them, re-upload them here with your logo included and terms and conditions, etc. And you've got your templates. Very easy to customize these templates. If I go into the fields section, then we get these references that we can use on our Word document to bring in the data from fields that we need to use on the PDF. So something like quote date Here's our reference. We can use that. So very simple to pull out any information that you need on the quote. Go down to the bottom. You can see that there's actually over 5,000 different fields just on the quote. So every single field that you need to display on your PDF is going to be available for you to do so. So you can generate a series of quotes from a deal. Maybe you want to give your customers different options on different specifications or quantities. And once we've run a quote, we can generate an invoice from that quote as well. So Bitrix doesn't handle accounts, but you can generate invoices in Bitrix. It does manage different VAT levels for different geographical regions. And again, on an invoice, you've got different stages, so you can see when the invoice has been sent to the customer, when it's been paid, whether they've been cancelled. And on this Kanban view, again, I can move these across easily into the different stages. So that's deals, quotes, and invoices. Final thing really to look at is reporting on the CRM. Probably 3 different ways of doing reporting really. So the simplest way and a very useful way is filtering on the list view. So I can choose the columns that I want to see on my list view. Let's bring in probability into this. Going to want to see a responsible person for it. Probably want to see the amount. Source is also useful as well. So I can choose the fields I see in here. If I want to move any of these columns, I can change the order of the columns over here. We can customize the width of each of these columns. And once we've got the layout that we need, we can do a filter at the top. So I can choose responsible person. So in this case, I want to see the deals that I'm responsible for. I could choose source as well. So if I want to look at deals from a particular conference, we could do that. I will look at deals that are at negotiation and looking good stage. And there I can see 3 deals which I've got at these 2 final stages. So that's a way of producing a report. I can actually export this to CSV and Excel. I can print it as a PDF as well. So that's a useful report, simple to set up for any user. Second way of reporting is to use the dashboard. So we can add any widgets from this list of widgets here. And again, it's all drag and drop, so I can create the layout that I want. And once I've got that, I can choose to populate each widget with the set of data that I need to see inside that widget. So this is on deals. We have the same reporting dashboards for each of the modules in the CRM, including, let's have a look at the start module, including a slightly different one for the start page. So on this page, we're able to see workload or activity by individual users here. Something like a communication load chart here, which tells me where our inquiries are coming from via telephone, email, or forms. I can see on this form who's most active within the team in terms of actions performed and remaining actions. And we can set a sales target down here for individuals, team members, and we can see how they're progressing towards that sales target. Just finally, I think if you want to create a custom report, then it is possible inside the report builder tool to add a custom report. So let's do that on deals. And you choose the columns you want to see in your report, choose the items you want to filter by. So it might be that you want to look at stages which are at promised, add additional items to filter by. So you might want to look at other fields like maybe a responsible person, but you can choose any of the fields that exist within the deal to do the filter. So I've got my columns that I display, how I want to filter the data. I can choose then a type of chart. I can share that report with people, and we can create that. I'll not create that. I'm not sure there's going to be any data in there, but it's very easy to create your own reports. So we looked at company and contact records, how to add activity manually on those, and how you can do automation. Looked at deals, quotes and invoices, how an opportunity progresses from a deal to a quote to an invoice, and then how you as a manager of a team can report in different ways.